All right, so now that we've introduced ourselves to rational expressions, the first thing we want to do is learn how to multiply and divide them. So let's first go back and remember how we divide fractions and how we multiply fractions, and that'll give us a heads up on what we're going to do when they get a little more complicated. So recall, for multiplication, all we simply do is multiply the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom. So in this case, we have 2 times 5 and 3 times 7, and we get 10 over 21 for that first example. So that's just straight multiplication for a fraction, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator, and then simplify as we go. And in this case, we can see that 10 and 21 don't share any common factors, and what will be key is notice right here, before I actually did the multiplication, it might be easier to see common factors at this stage of the game. That'll become really key as we move forward. But the idea, again, multiplication is just top to top, bottom to bottom. So in the next one, right, so we're multiplying, so it literally turns into 6 times 3 and 7 times 10. And if you go literally, right, we have 18 over 70, and then notice we have a common factor, right? It looks like both of these have at least a 2 in common. So if I divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, we end up with 9 over 35 as our final answer. As opposed to right here, you can probably see those common factors a little easier. Again, the multiplication is just top to top, bottom to bottom, but at this stage, I can see that 6 and 10 do share a common factor of 2. So if I divide 2 into here, we get 3, and if I divide 2 into there, I get 5. Finishing the multiplication, right, we would get the same answer of 9 over 35. So that idea of simplifying as we go might help us out in the long run, as opposed to literally multiplying and then trying to find that common factor. So be careful. Hopefully you're learning that idea, because things, like I'm saying, let me give you a glimpse, are going to get harder. All right, so being able to simplify things as you go is going to be easier. So next example, we have 14 over 21 multiplied by 9 over 16. So again, following the rules, it's just top to top, bottom to bottom. And I doubt at this point if you really want to multiply these things together and get some big, huge numbers. Right? That's just kind of ridiculous, and I'll probably need my calculator. But at this stage, I can see, right, 14 and 16 share a common factor of 2. So 2 goes into there 7 times, and 2 goes in there 8 times, right? And 9 and 21 share a common factor of 3. So 9 goes into there, 3 goes into there 3 times, and in there 7. And now I can see that there's a common factor of 7. So that divides out, and lo and behold, we get a final answer of 3/8. So notice again, what I basically did is I simplified as I go. And if you don't really like that, let me come back to here. Fight the urge to literally do the multiplication, because it's crazy, but you can even factor, right? 14 is 2 times 7, and 9 is 3 times 3. 21 is 3 times 7, and 16 is, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So what I did there is I completely factored everything. And in this case, what we end up having, right, is that we can see the 7's divide out, the 3's divide out, the 2's divide out, and you're left with 3 over 8. So there's another way to kind of see that with regard to, fight the urge to literally multiply and get big numbers and then try to factor. Factor as you go, or take out common factors as you go, and it becomes a lot easier. So one more multiplication example. Again, if we literally do this, this is 5a times 27b squared, right? Top to top, bottom to bottom. And 9b and 10a squared, right? Top to top, bottom to bottom again. And then rather than literally multiplying everything and getting big old numbers, let's, kind of divide out as we go. If you want to break everything down on the top, I have a 5. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. I've got an 8, and I got a couple of b's up there. Down below, 9 times 9 is 3 times 3. 10 is 2 times 5, and I got a couple of a's and a b. And now you can see a lot of common factors, right? There's a common factor of 3, right? A couple times. There's a common factor of 5. There's a common factor of a. There's a common factor of b. And when all's left and said and done, it looks like we have 3b over 2a. So that idea, again, rather than literally multiplying and then simplifying, simplify as you go. Factor the top, factor the bottom, look at those common factors. So again, multiplication, top to top, bottom to bottom, factor as you go, divide out, simplify. That's going to be really big as we move forward. What about division? Well, again, the rule for division is we actually multiply by a reciprocal. And so rather than dividing by 5/7, it turns into the multiplication of the reciprocal of 5/7. And then we're basically back to our multiplication rules. Top to top, bottom to bottom. I don't see any common factors, so our final answer here is 14/15. Here, 6/7 divided by 3/10. Well, the rule says to multiply by the reciprocal. All right, so top to top, bottom to bottom, and I can start seeing some common factors. But how about I'm going to go ahead and factor everything out. It's a good habit to get into. So 6 is 2 times 3, 10 is 2 times 5, and I can start seeing those common factors, right, of 3. Multiplying everything, I believe we get 20/7 in that example, right? Or the shortcut, right, once and twice, and there's your 20/7. Again, dividing, we multiply by a reciprocal, and tops to tops, bottoms to bottoms. You definitely don't want to multiply this out. What you want to do is start factoring. So I think 10 is 2 times 5. 18 is, I think, 2 times 3 times 3. Right? That's 2 times 9. 16, again, is 2 times 2 times 2. And 15 is 3 times 5. So I factored all the numbers, and I can start seeing the common factors. So 2 is common. Right? There's another 2 that's common. 3 is common. And 5 is common. And so what's left, I believe, is 3. And is that over 4? So we're looking at 3/4 as the final answer. So again, this idea of completely factoring is going to be important for us in a moment. Last problem here, we're dividing. So division turns into the multiplication, that's a 6 there, of a reciprocal. And then it's tops to tops and bottoms to bottoms. And we can start simplifying. Again, you can use the magic tricks. 4 and 6 share some common factors. 4 goes into 16. But how about I'm going to literally multiply everything. So 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 6 is 2 times 3. I have an A and a B. And down below, 9 times 9 is 3 times 3. 4 is 2 times 2. And then it looks like I have an A and a B. So looking at some common factors, I see a 2 common. I see another 2 common. I see a 3 common. I see an A common. And I see a B common. And so what's left, it looks like we have 8A in the numerator. And it looks like we just have 3 down in the denominator. So there's your final answer. So multiplication, top to top, bottom to bottom. Simplify as you go. Division, you multiply by reciprocal. And then you basically simplify as you go. Get in this habit of factoring things out so you can see those common factors and divide them out, because that's how we simplify a fraction. We divide out common factors. All right, so that should set the stage for more complicated examples, which are coming next. See you guys in the next video.